Okay, so Paula, I have to
Was that
accept
forced
the open the
here
meeting
today, or is he gonna be online?
on Zoom. Force it on you.
Line.
Oh,
Eric's.
Eric's online. Well,
Sandy?
yeah.
Come on in, Julie. Which side? Which side?
Already.
Is that legal?
Stands in the ranks.
Closing them up.
Hello, Eric. Yeah, and you'll want to do it on your
Get it? Yeah. Sorry. This is, of coffee. It's kind of something like that. My family. I really miss you. And I did take you to the chapel.
yeah. So
We'll point somebody. I'm happy doing this actually.
No quiet voices.
Okay.
Voices. Think outdoor voices.
oh yeah.
There he is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Horace, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah.
Great. You're in charge, bud.
Oh, wonderful. I was wondering why you gave me those minutes earlier today.
Chair McNary is out. Here.
Okay. Let me get this agenda in front of me here. Okay, and it is 4 o'clock on the dot. So let's get this meeting underway. So Paula, would you please do the roll call?
Oh, Bev Agee,
Present.
Horace Ercole,
Present.
Eric Gleason,
I see him.
Oh, Eric's on mute.
yeah, I see you. Bob McNary is absent. Carl Verkuderen is not here yet. Scott Randall
Present.
and Julie Reynolds.
Present.
Thank you, Paula. Appreciate that. All right, if we would all stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance now, please.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much for that, everyone. Moving along, the approval of the agenda. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve tonight's agenda the way it stands, or are there any changes that we need to make? Okay, I don't hear any changes needing, so I will make a motion to approve the agenda as it stands.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Eric. All those in favor of approving the agenda, either say aye or give a raise of your hand.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next, has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes of November 20th? I believe these are the ones that I'm going to have to be signing, correct, Paula? Okay, so the only change would be the signature line at the end being my name instead of Bob's name.
I've already changed that.
Okay. All right. I will take a motion to approve those minutes unless there's a change.
I move that we approve the minutes as they're written.
Thank you very much.
I
I
will
see
second that.
I see Eric seconding that. Thank you very much. All right. All those in favor of approval of the minutes dated November 20th, 2024, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. The minutes have been approved. Public comment. I believe there's a big spiel I'm supposed to read here, and I don't have that in front of me.
During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not later appear on the agenda. 5 minutes per person will be allowed.
Thank you for that, Paula. Okay, is there anyone, I can't see the public audience right now other than what we have on our screen here. Is there anyone on screen or in person that would like to discuss anything tonight?
Only our applicants are here.
Okay, thank you, Paula. Okay, well, seeing that there is none, we'll move on to our public.
You froze, Forrest. Oh, you're back. We lost you.
Sorry about that. Usually my internet's pretty good. I guess not so much tonight. So we have the applicant for HLC 217-24 in the audience tonight.
Correct.
Okay, well, let's have them speak, please.
Actually, you get the staff report first.
Oh. Okay,
Well, actually, we need to read the rules of a public hearing.
that's what I don't have in front of me. Do you happen to have those, Paula?
Bob has the copy,
Bob has the only
the official copy.
Leave Bob.
Oh, man. I could give you the highlights, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it kind of would be. Mr. Hayes, he went to the email
Okay,
and then he hit
yeah.
a series of, and there was like a packet or something, and then I was just glad it was still on.
15.
Oh,
If you have good vision, you can look at mine, because I can.
okay. I do have a copy of it.
Do
I
you?
guess she's,
Of the rules of the meeting?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I wrestled with it. Okay, is this the right?
Okay.
thing for me to do?
yeah.
I sent him a letter. You know, told him, So he's sad.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah,
Not, you know, it's not.
that's a good term.
nothing.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
so they'll have to name a replacement then, right?
Yeah.
Has he done that already, or is he?
I don't know if you suggest.
Yeah,
okay.
It'd be posted online somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I
We didn't speak up soon enough.
I have a copy of it. I could start reading them.
Oh, yeah. Is
Paula
that
gets
Carl
back to
there?
me.
Yeah, Carl, if
Did
you
that
don't
work?
mind, please.
Okay,
please do.
number one, the Historic Landmarks Commission Chairman will read the rules at the opening of the hearing. Number two, city staff will present findings relating to the request to the applicable ordinance and/or plan criteria and give a recommendation for commission action. Number three, proponents will have an opportunity to address the commission. Four, opponents will have an opportunity to address the commission. Five, proponents will then be given an opportunity to rebut any statements made by an opponent. Number six, the commission will ask questions of staff or others testifying throughout the hearing, All testimony must relate to the applicable ordinance and plan criteria. Number 7, the chairman will close the public testimony portion of the hearing. The commission will deliberate the case. Number 8, the commission may then approve, deny, or reject the plan for modification. The commission may also continue the hearing to a date certain, or where appropriate, recommend action by another city commission of the city council. Number 9, a resolution is then presented to the commission and voted upon. Any party may appeal the decision to the city council by filing a fee and stating the reason or reasons for the appeal in writing within 10 days of the resolution date. And number 10, further information on the rules of the hearing may be obtained from the Community Development Department, 313 Court Street, the Dalles, Oregon, or call Joshua Chandler, Director, at 541-296-5481, extension 1121.
Thank you, Carl.
Did it?
Are there any
That's all right.
questions about the rules? Hearing none, we will proceed.
Well,
Sorry?
One has any ex parte contact, bias, or conflict of interest that would preclude an unbiased decision.
I cannot hear you, Paula. I'm sorry.
My mic died. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to find it, but you need to ask the commissioners if any of them have conflict of interest, bias, or ex parte contact that would preclude an unbiased decision.
Eric, I see you raising your hand there.
Yeah, so I'm on the Fort Dalles Museum Commission, and I helped prepare the nomination by doing some editing, so I do have a ex parte contact.
Okay, would you like to sit this vote out, or I think we need, oh no, we have a quorum even without you. Would you like to abstain from this vote?
I think that would probably be best.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric. Are there any other commissioners that have ex parte contacts? Seeing none?
I'm not a
Oh.
voting member, but I'm on the Fort Dalles Commission as well. Let you know.
Thank you very much, Julie. Appreciate that.
I'm a member, but not in any official position with the Fort.
Thank you, Carl. Do you think you would still be able to make a vote tonight?
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, then I guess now we can, does anyone in the audience wish to challenge the qualifications of any of the members of our commission? Hearing none, we will proceed to the staff report.
Thank you. Oh, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. For the record, Sandy Freund, Senior Planner with the City of the Dalles Planning Department and your HLC Coordinator. Bear with me here trying to get this to share, so we'll see if we can do a presentation for you. Let's see what we do here. Share. Okay. Okay. Well, go. Okay. Phew. There we go. We'll see if this works. Okay. My view notes. So this is a request by the applicant, Denise Bolcom from the Fort Dalles Museum and Anderson Homestead Foundation, to request approval for the demolition and new replacement construction of a vehicle storage shed to house historic wagons. And the subject site is at 500 West 15th and Garson Streets. And it's the site of the Fort Dalles Museum, built circa 1856 in the Gothic Revival style. And it's the site of the surgeon's quarters and I believe a gardener's cottage, though I may be corrected. And there's 2 vehicle storage sheds on site. So the applicant is requesting demolition and new replacement of 1 vehicle storage shed, removing the existing 3-sided shed and replacing it with a new 3-sided shed.
I have a correction to that. Right, please.
Okay.
There's a door, I think is the clarification. It's for the.
Okay.
doors.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 4-sided, excuse me. Apologize for that. So the existing shed was constructed in 1964. It's not listed on the 1985 historic inventory sheet for the site. The removal and replacement of this shed constitutes a modification to an accessory structure only and will not affect the historic surgeon's quarters or the designated historic site landmark. All original uses of the site will be preserved and retained. And then these are just some photographs of the historic wagons inside the shed. And catch up here. Go back one, I'm sorry. So the applicant states as a result of rotting wood posts supporting the structure, the overall integrity of the shed is compromised. Deterioration from water runoff and insufficient maintenance over time has led to these conditions. The applicant states the roof was constructed using different materials with supports that have been added over the years in order to stabilize the structure. And again, due to limited maintenance, the entire structure has deteriorated over time and does not adequately protect the wagons from the elements. The applicant proposes constructing a fully enclosed and insulated shed using hardy plank board and batten siding that mimics the appearance of wood. It will include a 35-year composition roof, white vinyl windows, and metal insulated garage doors, and a carriage house style design for the east side of the structure, which you see in that site plan. And that side will be currently, and that side is currently open and exposed to the elements. Staff has found that all applicable criteria have been met. It meets the Secretary of the Interior standards. This request does. It also meets the Dalles Municipal Code Title 11 criteria, and staff recommends approval with conditions. And with that, I conclude my presentation. I'm open for any questions. I can also put pictures back that you might want to see again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Appreciate that report.
Thank you.
Do any of the members of the commission have questions for Sandy or staff on regarding this report? Hearing none, we will move along. So now, do we have anyone that wishes to speak in favor of this application? I can't see anyone, so I don't know if anyone's moving.
I'll say something. I think it's long overdue and it looks like a good, I'm for it. Looks like a good job.
This one.
Was the applicant here though to speak on behalf of this?
Yes, is the mic on?
Is it red?
Red light on?
Silver button.
Red light's on, okay. Yes, applicant, I'm Denise Dietrich Bokum, representing the foundation. with
Please
the
give your
pro-
address, please.
My personal address?
Mailing address?
Mailing address is P.O. Box 1041, street address 2735 East 12th in the Dalles.
Thank you very much. Okay, please go ahead and tell us why we should consider this application.
This shed, and you didn't see all the pictures, there were quite a few taken, but it's deteriorated and it's open to the elements. Fortunately, we have a large tarp that covers them in the winter, but they're subject to these. These are wagons from probably before the 1900s, and they are deteriorating. There are animals getting inside, and they're subject to UV. They could get rain on them. If the snow blows around, they would get snow on them before we had the tarp. So it really is imperative. And they really just don't display well. There's no really good lighting in there right now. So this way we'll be able to display them, and if work needs to be done on them and we're lucky enough to find somebody to work on them, they'll be able to do that in an enclosed environment.
Thank you very much, Denise. Do any of the commission members have any questions for Denise?
I have one, just out of curiosity. In spite of all the deteriorating structural members, is there anything that can be salvaged out of or do you plan on salvaging anything, or just?
We've had discussions on this, and Randy Katz is also present online. If he can add, we looked at this. This lumber was used lumber from the old Lemke house at the Suford Cannery. And some of that probably has been replaced. There's really nothing salvageable that I could really see.
Thanks.
I'd like to make a comment regarding that. The vertical siding that's there right now is actually providing support for the building. So if in fact we had someone to come in and remove the siding or the roof structures or whatever, it would compromise the integrity of the building, and with a small gust of wind or whatever, it could fall over and there'd be potential human injury, and it's just not worth someone's getting injured or hurt, maybe even killed. So the best thing to do is to demolition it by the experts, because there are people that would say, oh, I could use that siding. Oh, I can just cut that up and use it. And it's just not worth the city or the county to have any kind of risk like that.
Thank you, Randy. For the record, would you please state your name and address?
Randy Katz, 2724 East 12th Street, the Dalles, Oregon.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Is there any more questions, or anyone else would like to speak on behalf of this application?
I would like to also make additional compromised comments reference to the structure itself. I'm surprised it's still standing. With that in mind, it's probably a good thing we don't have docents or visitors actually go into that building. If in fact something happened, it would be not good. Anyway, I'm not a structural engineer. I just design custom homes and small commercial buildings for the last 30 years. I happen to see a lot of construction. This is not good.
Thank you very
Denise,
much.
a question. A few years back, there were plans for, I think, a larger building back behind the barn over on the other side to house all the wagons. But does this represent is that something that's not going to happen now? And
Yes, that is correct. That will not happen now. Building, as lovely as it was behind the Anderson barn, and over the years we've realized it's difficult enough to get visitors to walk to the Anderson barn, much less go beyond it. And logistically, it would be a staffing issue. You'd have to have a remote staff member there, bathrooms, all of that kind of stuff. So eventually it was decided that it would just be better to tear down the existing structure and use this to house these are the horse-drawn wagons, not the old motorized vehicle, which are in a different building on the same site.
Just a little follow-up to that. This particular piece of property was purchased by one of the foundation members for the benefit of this particular project. And this was related to the ODOT funding that was for museums, et cetera, and it just so happened that we were shortlisted like 3 or 4 times, and we were very close to receiving about $1.2 million for that particular building. And in fact, the money actually went to the Riverfront Trail people, and they ran into native problems there.
Thank you very much, everyone. Any more questions or comments that anyone would like to make on behalf of this application? In favor of this application, I should say. Hearing none. Thank you very much, Denise and Randy. Appreciate your time speaking on behalf of this. Now we will listen to all opponents. For anyone that would like to speak against this application, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak against this? Again, I can't see if anyone's there, so I don't know if anyone's raising their hand or not.
Nope, nothing here.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Josh. So since we have no opponents to this, we will now close the public hearing portion of the meeting, and we will debate amongst ourselves as commissioners. Commissioners, does anyone have any comments regarding this application?
I think it is long overdue and it looks like a good plan to me. I can't see any fault. I can't fault it. I like the doors, how they've made that sort of historic little stable door nod. I thought that was nice. Since they're horse-drawn vehicles.
I agree. From what I saw from the pictures and what I've seen when I've driven by, that building definitely needs to be replaced. It's about time, it looks like.
The only issue that I noticed in the staff report was the color of the windows, was it? Any wisdom to be imparted on that issue?
Proposed as white vinyl is what the applicant indicated. I don't.
So that would be a discussion for for the board, the use of white vinyl windows. Whether or not that is something that wants to be considered a potential color change to those windows, or if that's a clarification that's to be made by the applicant, but I do believe what was submitted was for white vinyl windows.
If I can make a correction to that, the design does not show any windows.
All right. Well, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. That is definitely good to know. Yeah, it just says findings. All right. Well, thank you for that clarification, Randy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, because it does say list of materials for replacing wagon shed, white vinyl windows with 4-inch and 5/4 trim. So maybe that was just a typo on the application. So it's just something we added in there, but thank you for the clarification. Does not show on the plans themselves. I think those are a little bit more clear. So I don't think that's a conversation we need to have. Thank you.
Carl, did that clear everything up for you?
Sure.
All right. Well, at this time, does the commission have enough information to make a decision on the application? I'm not hearing anybody, and I can't see you guys, so I
It's
don't know if
enough
you're
for me.
nodding.
It's enough for me.
Okay, well then I will take any motions that any of you would like to make.
I move that we approve the request.
Thank you, Carl. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Thank you, Bev. All right, all those in favor of approving HLC application 217-24, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And please note that Commissioner Gleason has abstained from the vote. All right, so now we are going to be moving on to HLC application 218-24. Could we please get a staff report on this application?
Yes,
Thank you, Sandy.
I have to pull it up. Give me 1 second, please. Find it. Okay. No, I can't see this.
Slow down this screen.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. How weird. Why? Maybe I have to stop sharing and start again. God. It's ridiculous. Why doesn't it start? I don't know why it doesn't start. Huh?
Yeah.
It doesn't start. Slideshow. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. I don't know why it's not starting. I went up to slideshow already. And F5 doesn't do it either.
What's going on with the mouse here?
Oh, there it is. Resume slideshow. What the heck? Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Again, for the record, Sandy Freund, Senior Planner. Technical issues, I apologize for that. Okay, this is a request by the applicant, Tom Giame. Jame, I apologize. Seeking approval to replace 4 windows on the northeast wall of the subject site and replace 1 side entry door facing Court Street. The address of the building is 201 East 2nd Street. It's considered a primary resource, number 76. And it's in the Central Business Commercial District with the CBC-1 and CBC-2 overlay. The existing use is storefront retail and offices on the 2nd floor. There's the site, 201 East 2nd Street. And it's historically known as the Channel Building, built circa 1892 in the Mediterranean Revival style. Originally known as the Channel Building and commonly known as the American Legion Building, the Dalles, post number 19. That's a photo I found from circa 1900. And the area we're speaking about is, well, there's no pointer on here. This side door over here, and then on the back side, and it's hard to say, I apologize. On the northeast wall, back wall is the windows, and I'll show you a photo of that in a moment. 2 more photos, 1920 on the left and 1984 on the right side. June 2009. And this is a current photo of the Court Street side entry door today. I don't have my notes with me. I apologize, my notes are a little scattered right now. So again, the applicant is proposing to replace the existing 4 windows. I might have a photo of it here. There we go. On the left side of the screen, there's 4 windows on the 2nd floor of the northeast wall. The 2 on the left have been shuttered, and the other 2 are severely damaged. The other 2 photos are on the inside, the one with the squiggly lines in the middle, and the one on the far right is of the exterior of the windows he's seeking to replace. And And then the existing door, these are two photos of it. He's seeking to replace that with a more functional, wider door without the center vertical mullion. Apologize. For easier access to the offices upstairs and the basement below. There was, the door will mimic or be similar in style to the recently approved HLC project. It was a two-phased facade improvements for other windows and doors on the property in 2019. And then this site shows the door along Court Street on the left side of the photo with the green circle, and on the top right are the windows facing the alley on the northeast side on the second floor. Staff has been able to make all applicable criteria, meeting the Secretary of the Interior standards and the Dalles Municipal Code Title 11 criteria, and recommends approval with conditions. Let me see if I have any other photos for you. That's it. And with that, I conclude the presentation. I'm open for questions.
Thank you very much, Sandy.
Thank
Does
you.
the commission have any questions for Sandy and staff at this time?
One quick thing for me, Chair Collet. I think we need to recite the public hearing information once again, ex parte contact, that type of information. We would have to do it at the beginning of both public hearings. So if we can do that again, do we have that information?
Thank you, Josh. So do any of the members of the commission have any ex parte contacts, conflicts of interest, or bias which would prevent you from rendering an impartial decision on this matter? Seeing and hearing none, I guess we can move on forward. Does anyone in the audience wish to challenge the qualifications of any of the commission members?
Nobody's here except for the applicant.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's head right back to, did we have any questions or comments for staff and the report? Hearing and seeing none, we will move on. Could we please have the applicant come up, state your name and address, and speak on behalf of the application?
Tom and Lindsay Jamay, 201 East 2nd Street, the Dalles, Oregon.
We've been here before.
We're back. I guess if you have any questions regarding the windows that we're looking to replace, we're happy to answer.
Yep.
Them.
The only other clarification I will say is what we're going to replace it with is wood windows in the upper part. They're non-functional now. It's the only other option is boarding them up. So it's a bummer. We'd love to have seen them all get fixed at the same time when the other windows on Second and Court Street were done, but they weren't. So we just want to get them up and functioning for the office space. The door's another big item for us. To have the double doors is going to limit access for people. They're they get in the way. We just like to match it all to the same, so you don't have some random wooden double door. It was never used as a primary entrance before, like it will be now. So it should be a statement. We obviously care about the history of the building, and we want to do the best to preserve that. And I think that's the best way to honor it. But we're open to questions, for sure.
Thank you for that. Do any of the commission members have any questions for the applicant?
I have a question. The oops, I'm sorry. The photo of the door doesn't show the arched part. Is that still there?
It's the one on the left now shows it. It's
Oh.
not glass, it's just wood.
Oh, okay. The others just zoomed in and it happened to cut it off. Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Gleason, I saw you had your hand up.
Yes. I just had a couple of questions. Is the replacement door going to be the same height as the existing doors, or is it going to be taller? It almost kind of looks like the original doors would have been taller and come up to almost the base of that arched top.
It's a good
That'd be a
question.
really oversized door though.
It'll essentially be the same size, which that door right there is pretty tall itself. I don't have an exact measurement, but we did submit the one we want to put in there. It'll be a tall door.
We're basically working within the framework that is currently there and trying to get a door that would fit the current opening as best as possible with having glass. We proposed glass on the one side to have a wider door for the entrance, but we couldn't get like one giant wide door because it was too big. So it was a door with a side light on the side. So we're doing our best to kind of keep within that parameter.
Yeah. Any ideas on replacing or putting a transom window in the upper part?
We'd be open to that. Yeah, we would certainly be open to that.
So you're saying the door is going to be narrower and with a side light?
It'll be wider than each door individually, but it'll have a side window on the side for natural light to come in.
When we were getting quotes for doors, we couldn't get like the space of the door. I don't know. I know it was in our application.
It is.
The width of the current door is pretty wide as a single door. So in order to meet what we can actually get a hold of when working with like Home Depot or Tumulum, we had to make it a little more narrow for the physical door and then have a side light on the side to fit that overall space. Because otherwise those doors as they stand now, they're pretty narrow even for my like self to get in. You kind of like weasel your way in.
Narrow doors with that center deal. So okay.
So now we'll just have a side light and a door.
Usually the side lights are on both sides and then you'd be back to a narrow. So yeah, it's okay. So
We were going to opt for one on the side.
Okay.
And I believe if I can add, I think they're doing a lot of work on the upstairs, try to bring the upstairs, make it more usable. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the door width now wouldn't comply with code to allow that space to be usable. So this is really, it's a functionality purpose that they're proposing as well. And to the question earlier, it's an 8-foot tall door. So typical door height is a little less than 7 feet. So they are proposing an 8-foot tall door. Looks like just a little over 8 feet. So pretty tall door still.
Will the side glass be clear?
Yes. Since our plan for upstairs is to do office spaces, so to make sure people can see going in and out, there'd be glass on the door and glass on the side lights, so nobody's bopping each other as they're going in and out.
So I might just be missing it here in the report, but so the door is going to be wooden as well, correct?
Wooden glass, yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Correct. And one thing we pointed out here is that the applicants were approved. This door here is what was approved in, I think, 2019, 2020. So there was some Second Street. So the primary facade on the building had HLC approved door replacements at that time. So what they're doing, correct me if I'm wrong, mimicking this door effectively, maybe a little bit taller, but you're going to have that side panel of glass just to the door handle side. So we'll mimic that on the Court Street side.
Thank you, Josh.
I had a couple of questions about the windows. I kind of always appreciate photos that kind of show the current condition of the windows, and it was kind of hard to see by the supplied ones just because they were kind of understandably covered up with plastic and boards and stuff. Are you going to retain this fire shutters on the 2 easternmost windows?
We are.
Okay.
We're gonna retain those.
They'll be propped open though.
Yeah, they'll be open with then functioning windows.
The windows, we don't know why they weren't replaced. Back when the Legion had gotten the front section of the building done, we're not sure why the back 4 were ignored in that like replacement piece. So it seems like they're basically to the point where like they're boarded up. I think the picture's actually pretty indicative of the condition of what they're in. The glass is broken, the frames are deteriorated. really don't know any way to like salvage them at this point. Like the only way to make sure that there's a safety component also for being on the second floor of offices is to replace them with wood windows. We wish we could replace the glass and make them functioning again, but it seems like the windows on the front side were already deemed as kind of being in that state as well. So we're just trying to match what was replaced on the front with the back.
Will they have the arch on the top, like the other ones?
So they did not all have arches. Some of them had wood top arches. They'll be rectangles.
And just to clarify, this is in the back alley. So this is looking at last stop is to the left of us.
Yeah,
There's not a whole lot going on back there.
Thank you. Commissioners, any further questions that we would like to ask of the applicants? Hearing none. Thank you both for taking your time to come out here and talk to us today.
Thank you. And we are bringing back the wood floors upstairs, by the way. They're really pretty.
I don't think there's anyone in the audience that's going to speak against this, but I just have to check anyway. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak against this?
Nope, unless the applicant wants to.
Thank you. So then I will close this to the public now, and the commission will debate amongst ourselves. Does any commissioner members have any comments? Do you want to make a motion? Do you want to add a condition of approval? How are you all feeling?
Yes.
I think it sounds very reasonable, and they're going out of their way to preserve history right through their whole project. So I can't fault it.
I think that their use of wood is going perfectly with our guidelines. So yeah, I don't see any problem with it. It'll make it look a lot nicer in the back there. And just a better feeling overall if you're going to be using that as an office space, having that looking nice. Okay, well, would any of the commissioners members like to make a motion?
Oh, boy. I move that we accept it the way it's been presented to us.
Okay, so you would like to make a motion to approve application 218?
Is that too
Dash-
soon? Oh, the number.
No, that's it. -24 with the conditions of approval.
Correct.
Okay.
And
do we have a
I
second?
will second it.
Thank you both very much. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Aye. And the application passes. Okay, moving right along. I see next on our agenda is for the resolution HLC 203-25. Do I have a motion to approve this? Has everyone had an opportunity to see it?
So yeah, these resolutions will be basically the formal adoption of the two previous applications we just discussed. So they'll be the resolutions will be memorializing the approvals.
Can I make a motion to approve both resolution 203-25 and HLC resolution 204-25 as written and presented with the conditions of approval?
I'll take it. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Thank you both very much. All those, and I'm going to do the votes though for them separately, just so we have a clear count. All those in favor of approving HLC resolution 203-25, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 And now, all those in favor of approving HLC Resolution 204-25, please raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the ayes have it. Okay, thank you very much for those applications. Thank you everyone that spoke on behalf of them tonight. We are moving along to goal setting. We had postponed our finalizing this until after the holidays. And I believe in our packets, I think it was Sandy that did this. We have a clean version and then we have a redlined version here.
That's correct. Yep.
And did any commissioners, now that you're here in person and taking a look at it or have had an opportunity to look at it, does it look correct to you? Is there anything we needed to add that we forgot? Is it acceptable? Any
Seemed
comments
fine
on
to
it at
me.
all in any way?
It seemed good to me when I read the email.
Same here.
Yeah, I believe we all tentatively approved it, but this is going to be the official thing here. So, Carl, did you have any
Officially
comments
think
regarding
seemed
it?
Good.
Oh, I think is well done.
All right, then we do have a quorum, so I believe we can all vote on this. We're only missing Bob, our voting member. So, all those in favor of the Historical Landmarks Commission's 2025 goals as they stand, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving right along. Staff comments. Josh, Sandy, either of you have any comments for us today?
I think just very brief. Just to follow up to these goals, we'll be presenting them to City Council, I think at the first meeting in February. So it'll be kind of our adoption at City Council, our presentation to City Council. And then following up after we had this conversation about these goals, and I just wanted to remind the commission that we will be pursuing a rare volunteer this next year with the goal of having a rare volunteer that's focused entirely on historic preservation. So the idea of moving some of these goals a little further along. I know I definitely have heard from some of the members that some of these goals have been on here for a little while. So we're going to do our best to try to come up with a plan to try to get some of these knocked off the list. So next time around, we can, really look at our accomplishments over this last year. So that application will be submitted towards the end of April. And we were also going to see about pursuing a SHPO grant. The SHPO grant, still checking into the details, see if the SHPO grant can actually assist in moving this plan forward with some of these goals that we have. So there's going to be two things coming up, at least on our end of things. SHPO grant is going to deadline is in February, followed up by the rare volunteer deadline in April. So just something that I want to let you know that we are going to move forward with, of course, with grants, with both of these processes. We're going to put our name into the hat, do our best, and see if we get them. But nothing's set in stone until the checks in the mail, I guess they say, right? So we will keep you posted on that, and that's all we have.
Thank you very much for that, Josh. Appreciate that, and that's good to hear. Did any of the commissioner members have any comments tonight? I see Eric.
Yeah, I just have a couple of things to say. I was in Portland doing some research at the Oregon Historical Society last month. And one of the files they have is a bunch of photos that Gladys Suford, who used to be a member of the Museum Commission and the Museum Commission's representative on the Landmarks Commission. There's a file of photos that she took in the 60s, 70s, and 80s of historic buildings in the Dalles. Some of them now lost, which is really interesting to see. But among those, there were pictures of the railroad houses. That is one of the things in our goals. So I'll try and share those with the commission shortly. The other thing that she took pictures of was First Street, that kind of showed the First Street area before the move of the railroad tracks in the late 1970s. So those are pretty informative about the conditions of the streets and stuff before that major change occurred. So that's going to be kind of helpful for us kind of reviewing some of those things with the First Street work. I continue to hope to work with staff to try and mitigate some of the impacts of the First Street project on the commercial historic district in the Dalles Chinatown site. So that's just kind of my update.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, I look forward to seeing those photos. Bev, you got anything for us tonight?
Well, I have some sad news, or just some news. I'm resigning from the board effective the February 28th. So yeah, I really wrestled with this because I enjoyed it so much with all the people I've met here. And I'm sorry Bob's not here and you two knuckleheads are way on the out of reach. So anyway, I just said I would tell you that. So hopefully we'll have something next week because I'll be at the next meeting unless there's nothing on the agenda. Otherwise, I might just come in and sit in the audience and cause mischief occasionally. I wish you all the best. And it was just I prayed about it. I know this is the right thing for me and my family at this time. So there you go.
We're sorry to lose you, Bev. You've been great to work with.
Who's going to second the motions?
Oh, yeah, I really got that one down. I kind of fumbled the what is it? The proposal. I can't even say it. So it's probably just as well I'm retiring. Move a motion. And I thought I would just nail that tonight, but no. Anyway, yeah, I sent Bob a letter and a special note. And I've talked to the mayor and he's in search of someone. So.
Well, thank you for your service. We appreciate having you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
How many years did you serve?
4 years. I thought it was about 8. Now, Mr. Egg, you looked at it, it was like 4. No offense to anyone. But yeah.
Carl, did you have any comments you would like to share tonight?
Yes, it's almost February once again, and the original courthouse 4 Saturdays programs, beginning with fire lookouts. Eric and Jackie are going to present one on the China crew at the Suffolk Cannery, program on Joseph Brown, Jewish merchant who was buried outside of our Pioneer Cemetery. And then the final program is not going to be at the courthouse, but it will be at the Granada Theater. And Chuck Gomez promises to have tours of the whole building and fill us in on the history. So that'll be an interesting one also. And everybody's invited, but if everybody shows up, the fire marshal might have some questions about it. Yeah, come and enjoy these programs. We have the upstairs courthouse, and if you can't make the steps, the downstairs monitor is there. And we always enjoy these programs. It's the 46th year that we've been doing this.
Are you the original organizer?
Well, actually, the very first years we had Paul Kuiper was our staff person there. I think he was pretty much setting up the first one, but we had a bunch of old, I say old historians because now I'm one of the old ones, but people in their 70s and 80s, great historians in the town who did some of those first programs, and it's been a good run. We record these programs, keep some of them at the courthouse, and also copies of them out at Discovery Center at the library out there. So it's been a good program and some good ones. Every year we wonder what we're going to come up with and have we exhausted all the possible programs, and we always find some more interesting ones and people that are willing to work at these presentations. Come and enjoy.
Thank you, Carl. We appreciate that. It sounds fun. Scott, did you have anything for us tonight?
Just that it's always enjoyable and exciting to see the upgrades that are happening around town. Each time we come here, it seems like someone's got some plans for improvements on the different buildings, and yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Last but not least, Julie.
There's a lot going on at Fort Dalles Museum. We have a new coordinator. He has a master's in history, and he is really passionate about the history, even the national history that encompasses Fort Dalles Museum. He's worked in a number of historic sites, the Hearst Castle in California, Grant's home in Illinois, the museum in Vancouver. I mean, the Fort Vancouver. So he's really well qualified, and he also was a tour bus driver, so he knows how to interact with people in a really good way. I just think he's just going to be excellent for us. We got permission from the county to paint. So right now the museum is kind of disassembled and everything's in the center of the floor so that the walls can be painted, and then they'll be put back in a different kind of order than they have been, to express different parts of history. So if you haven't been up for a while, it'll be really worth coming. And aside from that, I took on a project with the Wasco County Historic Museum to go through some boxes that had been stored at the Rorick House, the Moody House. They'd been cataloged. Jackie Chung had done part of it, and Ruth Cutler, I think. There were handwritten identifications and numbers. I've put all that into an Excel spreadsheet so people can really look at what's there. A lot of this was from the Lou Nichols collection. I don't know if you remember him. So some historic photographs and other important documents that will be really valuable to the historic community, I hope.
Thank you very much, Julie. Lots of good information there.
Yeah.
And with that, I'd like a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
There you go.
I second it. I was so close to having one, Carl. You couldn't let me do it.
Oh, I withdraw my motion and.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. This meeting is adjourned.
Good job.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.